Okay, can you hear me okay? Brilliant. Just switch over to Fiona. Fiona, can you hear me? Brill. Awesome. Right. Okay. Okay, we're good. So I'll get started then. So we're going to begin on our backs today. So if you come onto your back, and we'll begin with the legs bent. So if you bend your knees with the soles of your feet on the ground, and if anybody has back stuff that they need to be a little wary of today, then you might like to take your feet the width of the mat and allow the knees to rock in to touch each other. That can be quite comforting and spacious for a lower back issue. So those options, if you want to lay with your legs long, then by all means go ahead and do so. And then let's just take a couple of moments just to draw into breath. So this is the way I always begin any practice that I take at home personally. Just a moment to breathe. So the best way to do that is to take your awareness to the belly, and to soften the belly. And then imagine the belly is a bit like a balloon. So you're going to inhale and imagine that this balloon is inflating, filling with air, filling with breath. And then as you exhale, the balloon kind of deflates a little bit. Your belly compresses and presses out the air. Just spend a couple of moments with your breath. It doesn't always come really easily to breathe like this. But just keep visiting it, and then eventually, it will become quite easy to sort of click into this longer breath, which is really useful if you're feeling anxious or if you're feeling tired, a little overwhelmed. So at the same time as you become aware of your breath, just also become aware of your body physically. So just notice any areas of your body that you may need to be a little more cautious of as you practice today. Any injuries, any tight spots, any parts of your body that perhaps have become aggravated by, sitting over computers or tending to little ones, or perhaps you've been in the garden. Just be mindful. So now we're going to draw the knees in towards the chest. So maybe one at a time, maybe both together, whatever works. Just draw the knees slowly in towards the chest. Maybe hold on to the shins. And perhaps you give yourself a little rock on your spine. So you just perhaps have a little rock on your back and just ease out through the back, lengthen the spine, lengthen the hips a little bit. And then you may rock up to sit, or you may prefer to roll over to sit. So I'll roll over to sit. So I'm just going to roll onto one side and then just push up, and then come and sit on my mat or in the floor, wherever you've chosen to take your practice today. And I have some blocks with me today, and you might not have blocks, but it doesn't really matter. Books, thick books will do the job, and folded firm blankets will do the job, but you may decide that, when you're sitting, that you want to place a brick underneath your seat. This is a good way just to help you sit up a little bit taller, so to help you widen up a little bit across the chest, and to lengthen through the lower back a little bit. So just bring yourself to a seated position that feels good. And then just for a moment, let's just revisit that breath. So just have a moment in a slightly different position to think about your breath. Just allow the belly to soften. Take a couple of inhales and exhales that just allow you to come back to yourself a little bit. And then we'll start to move. So from your seated position, just taking some awareness to the neck, we're going to bring one ear to one shoulder. So I just want you to make sure you're nice and relaxed through your shoulders. And then what you're going to do is just let your head tip out to one side. So you're just bringing that same ear towards that same shoulder. So all you're really doing is opening up the opposite side of your neck. So you may just stay as you are, or you may take the same side hand as the direction that you've gone to, and just apply a little bit of gentle hold to the head. It's not a pull, it's just a little bit of gentle guidance just to help you open out that side a little more. And then we'll inhale and release the hand. If you use the hand, bring the head up to center. Just loosen the shoulders before you go to the opposite side, just shrugging out any tension from the neck. And then let's head out to the opposite side then. So opposite ear towards opposite shoulder. There may not be a massive range of movement here. And use the hand or don't use the hand, whatever works best. Relax that opposite shoulder so that you can just create a little bit of space there. And then inhale, release the hand, bring the head back up to center. And then just once again, just release any tension around the shoulders. It's been a stressful time for quite a lot of people. So, maybe you're carrying a little bit of excess tension in the shoulders that you need to release. Okay, so we're going to take a side reach just to stretch out the waist. You may be happy doing this on whatever you chose to sit on, or you may decide to come off it, whatever works best. So one hand just comes out to the side, and the other hand heads up towards the ceiling. You're going to take an inhalation, and then as you exhale, you're just going to take a nice side bend. Just reaching out to the side. You might need to walk out that hand that's on the floor just to make a little bit more room. Make sure you don't lean back. So we want to come to the side. Keep breathing. And then we'll inhale up. Exhale as we plant the opposite hand down on the ground. Inhale up the other hand and exhale out to the opposite side. Just keep your breath coming so you're not holding your breath. And then inhale up and exhale, bring the hands to either side. So we're going to take a twist. So with your twist, I'm just going to turn my view round to the side so that you can see me. And you can do this with long legs or crossed legs, whatever feels good. So I'm going to take one hand behind me. Now, if I'm sitting up high, I may just need to anchor my hand or hold on to something so I'm not leaning back. And then I'm going to take my other hand, so opposite hand to opposite knee. So that's how I'm going to start. I'll turn back round. So one hand behind me, one hand to the opposite knee. I'm going to take an inhalation and just think about my spine, think about drawing my spine up long. And then as I exhale, I'm going to come into a little twist. And this isn't a how far can you twist exercise. This is just gradually drawing your body round in its natural twist. And now we'll inhale, and as we exhale, we'll just flow the body round to set up on the opposite side. When you take your next inhalation, find the length in your spine, and then exhale, come into that twist on the opposite side. Just keep breathing. Sometimes it's tempting to hold the breath in your twist, but you just want to keep that breath fluid, long. And now we'll inhale and exhale and return to the center. Just shrug out any tension in the shoulders. So if you're on a block, you may choose to come off it. If you're on a blanket, you might just be okay. But we're just going to have almost like a seated cat-cow kind of a position here. So if cross legs don't work for you, then maybe you're happy to sort of just bring the legs out in front, or maybe take a sort of slightly more relaxed position with the legs. But essentially we're gonna be doing the movements of cat-cow in a seated position. You can actually do cat-cow anywhere. So I brought my legs out in front of me with my feet together, actually, so that might be another position that you could create. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to inhale, and as I exhale, I'm just going to kind of slump forward. So I'm just going to, let my hands come down, my legs a little bit, or come down towards my feet, and just let my back round. And then when I inhale, I'm going to run my hands up my legs, run them up the rest of my legs, and then just bring them so that I can just push my chest out a little bit. So I'm just thrusting my chest, my heart, my throat open a little bit, drawing my elbows to sort of come together behind me a little bit. So I'm just finding these two movements. And then we're going to exhale and just round the back, just reach down, let everything go here, let your idea of posture, just let it release. And then on your next inhalation, run the hands up the legs. Inhale, just drawing the heart open, drawing the elbows towards one another. And then we'll repeat this another couple of times. So just exhale, round down. And inhale, run the hands up the legs, draw open the heart and the chest. Great position if you're working at a desk a lot at the moment. And then one more. Exhale, round down through the feet. And inhale, run the hands up the legs, open out through the heart. And then just bring your body to normal position. And then we're going to come onto our bellies. So just roll yourself onto your tummy. I'm actually going to face you to begin with, just so you can see me, but you may lay long across your mat like this. So I'll come just so you can see my body a little better. So I'm just going to come into a Sphinx pose here. So I'm bringing my elbows beneath my shoulders. Another great pose for drawing open through the heart, for creating better posture through the upper body. If your back doesn't like this, if your back says this is too high up, then you may take your hands down and kind of cross them and then just rest the head. That might be a better position. So wherever you are, just think about finding some space in your chest. So drawing it open through the heart, drawing open through the throat, stretching the legs out long behind you. And with your head, you don't want to be sort of bringing the head back. So you want to see if you can find a place where your spine is in line. And again, just every movement having an opportunity to breathe. So you may choose to stay here. This might be your happy place. in terms of your back, or you may decide to join me in a wide-armed cobra. So we're going to come down to the floor and I'm going to bring my hands in front of me. Now, I sometimes do this with my hands up on kind of finger stalks, so it's like my hands are little teepees, but you might not like that. You might prefer to flatten the hands, so just whatever feels good. And then all we're going to do is just inhale and lift the head away from the floor, but you're not aiming to come too high here. And this wide position with the hands just gives you lots of space. And then exhale and just float down to the floor. Take a full in breath with no movement and a full out breath with no movement. And then on your next inhalation, repeat if you're joining me for Cobra. And then exhale and float down to the floor. Good. Just breathe naturally on your belly. Okay, and then we're going to roll onto our back. So just for a transition to bring us up to stand. So just roll onto your back in whatever way. And then when you get onto your back, just hug your knees into your chest. And then we're going to either roll onto your side, bring yourself up to sit, or rock up to sit. And then we're going to find our way to stand. So just take your time to find your way to a standing position then, however that looks. Good. So now we're all standing up. Let's just find mountain pose. So in mountain pose, a little bit of a space between your feet, just pressing down through your feet. Have a situation where you're not kind of rolling out to the outer edges of your feet or rolling to the inner arches of your feet. Just press down evenly through your feet. And then start to switch on all the muscles up the legs. Switch everything on. Engage the belly, engage the pelvic floor if you can. Draw energy up through the body, all the way up to the shoulders, all the way to the crown of the head, like you're being dangled like a puppet from the ceiling. Just take your hands by your sides, palms facing forward. Okay, so a few movements with the hands. So I have quite low ceilings in this room. So in a moment, I'm going to lift my hands above my head. You might not be able to see full extension of my arms, so just you do that if you can. So I'm just going to inhale and bring my hands above my head. And just reach up tall through the fingertips. Keep pressing down through the feet. And then exhale, bring the hands down by the side. Good. Now clasp your hands in front of you. So just clasp them in front. And then press your hands away, so the palms are facing away from you. And now inhale the hands up again. So just as you did before. If this aggravates shoulders or your neck, then you may prefer to release the hands and even have some width between your hands. Just keep pressing up. Keep on breathing. And then exhale, bring the hands down. And then I want you to change the cross of your fingers. Sometimes confusing. But just change your fingers over one and then turn the hands away and then inhale them up and exhale to hold. Inhale to hold and exhale to bring the hands down and release the hands, release the wrists, release the shoulders. Good. And then one more just to open up through the upper body. So I'm going to literally cross my arms behind me. Great one again for desk, you know, lots of people working from home, working with their desks. So I'm just crossing my elbows behind me and then taking a good look at my body again. So is my pelvis in neutral? Are my knees a little bit soft? And then focusing on drawing open through the heart, open through the chest. And breathing. And then all you're going to do is just change this round. So just change the opposite cross of the elbows. A little bit weird, but great for bringing symmetry into your body. Drawing open across the chest. A nice big inhalation. And then use your exhalation to release the hands. Again, just release these shoulders. And then we're going to come and stand at the front of your mat or the front of the space where you're working out now to do a few standing postures. So I'm going to turn to the side so that I can show you some of the standing postures. So I'm going to begin with my hands on my hips. And I'm initially going to step back into what we call in yoga a high lunge. So with the back foot, what we try to do in high lunge is to come onto the ball of the foot, which can be tricky for some feet. So you can hold on to something if you need to for balance. And then this front knee, we want to make sure it doesn't surpass the ankle. So it needs to stack up over the ankle. This will give the knee the best support. Lift the heart a little bit. And then one step or a few steps, let's just step to the front of the mat. Good. And then we'll step back with the opposite side. Find your high lunge on the opposite side. When you find that position, just get tall and proud through the heart, through the chest. Good. We'll inhale. We'll exhale. And then use your inhalation to find your way to the front of the mat. One step or a few steps. Good. We'll repeat this. So we're going to go back with the opposite leg again. And if you establish some kind of balance here, then maybe you feel like you can raise your hands above your head. Raising them above the head. Lifting the heart. Keeping on breathing. And then exhale the hands down to the hips and step to the front of the mat. And then when you're ready, let's step back with the other leg. Find your way into high lunge. When you feel strong, if you feel strong today, lift up those hands above the head. Lift the heart, inhaling, exhaling. Let's inhale again if we can. And exhale, hands to the hips. And then use your next breath to step to the front of the mat. Great. Okay, so now I'd like you to step wide on your mat. So step wide. You'll be facing me, facing the camera. So step your feet quite wide, wider than your hips for sure. And we're going to find our way into a warrior two. So take one of your feet and turn it straight. Turn it straight right down the center of the mat. And then turn what is now your back foot, turn the toes in, turn them in 45 degrees. Good. So a rule of thumb here is that the front heel lines up with the back instep. And now we'll inhale at the hand. And as we exhale, we're going to come into a warrior two. So we're going to bend the knee of the front leg. And once again, we want this knee to line up with the ankle or maybe slip slightly behind if you're nursing a knee, if you're being careful with a knee. So gazing over your middle finger and breathing. Now, as you hold your warrior two, I just want to show you something. I'm going to bring my knee to face you. Now, what a lot of people do in warrior two is they let this knee poke in. So they let it poke in towards the big toe side of the foot. You don't want to do that. You want to open out the thigh so that the knee lines up with the second or the third toe. This is a good way to keep knees safe in warrior two. So have a little play with that. So we've been holding a bit now, so we'll inhale, and as we exhale, let's bring the hands down and then carefully turn the feet round to parallel. And then we'll head out the opposite way. So front foot, what is now your new front foot, that's straight. Back toes turn in, front heel lines up with the back instep. Inhale up those hands, and then exhale, bring a bend into your knee. And now you're looking at your knee, and you want it to line up with your front ankle, and also head over the center of your foot, so that knee isn't caving in. Gazing over your middle finger, feeling the expanse of your chest and lengthening down through the lower back, through the tailbone. We'll inhale, and as we exhale, drop the hands, turn the feet round to parallel, and then heel toe the feet in towards one another, and then stay as you are in the center of your mat. Good. So we're going to take a balance pose today. I'm going to take a tree pose. So maybe take your hands to your hips, but eventually just use your hands, to give you the ultimate balance, really. So we're going to begin by taking the right foot out, it points out to the corner. And then I'm going to lift up the heel. And the reason I do this is to feel what it's like to become less stable through my hips. So when we stand on one leg, very often we dump into that same side hip. I don't want to do that. I want to get long through the sides of the waist, long through the whole body. So I'm feeling uncompressed and tall through my whole body. And then from here, I want to connect the lifted foot, the lifted heel. I want to connect that to the standing ankle. So I've just made a connection here. And then while you do that, just think about drawing up strong through the sides of the waist, drawing up evenly. Now you might stay here, this might be enough. You might even head for a wall or head for something to hold on to. Or you might take a little leap of faith today and have a go at tree. So if you fancy heading into this more progressively, you may bring the balancing foot up the leg. Now we don't balance on the inside of the knee itself. So we balance lower than the knee, or we may take hold of the foot and balance it higher than the knee. So wherever you want to be here. So I'll take the lower position today for this one. And then do what feels good with your hands. What gives you balance? Does it help you to take them out to the sides? Does it help you to take them up? And then focus on that feeling of length through the sides of your waist, not dumping into that standing hip. Well done. You see some great trees here. Good, we'll inhale, and as we exhale, let's take that leg down. Give the hips a little wiggle, because this is a great hip strengthener. And let's head on to the opposite side. So opposite foot turns out. Lift up the heel. Feel that evenness through the body. Maybe you begin by connecting the heel to the ankle. Maybe that's a safe place to begin. Or maybe you want to progress further. And if you want to progress further, lower than the knee, or you might physically have to take this foot and put it into position as you come into your tree. It's quite interesting when you bring the foot a little higher, because you get this leverage between the sole of your bent foot, your bent leg foot, and the same side leg. Well done. If you're doing tree with a toddler around you, you're doing brilliantly. Okay, let's take an inhalation and exhale. Bring the foot down, give the legs a little wriggle. Okay, and we're going to come back down to the floor then. So let's find our way down onto the floor. We're going to come onto our backs. So find your way onto your back. And then when you get onto your back, I'd like you to stretch out long. So just stretch out long, stretch out maybe your hand over your head if that feels okay. Feet out long, and just take a really nice kind of full body stretch. And then bring the hands back by the sides. And then we'll bring a bend into your knees. So just bring a bend into the knees here. So soles of the feet on the ground. And you want to bring your heels fairly close towards your bottom, as much as you're kind of able. And you want to have a gap between your knees. The gap between your knees, you want to imagine your knees lining up with your hips, or the hip bones. So we're going to come into a pose called bridge now. So we're going to press down through the feet, press down like you're standing on your feet. And then you're going to start to lift the bottom away from the ground. So you're going to lift it up. So you're creating almost like a ski slope type position with your body. Little squeeze of the glutes helps to assist this pose. It doesn't matter how high you go. So, you might be not very high or quite high. Wait for opening out all of the front of the body. So imagine you're pressing your shins, away from you towards the front of the mat and lifting your chest up towards your chin. Let's take a big inhalation here. And then as we exhale, let's lower down to the floor, resting the sacrum to the floor. Just let it return to the floor. So we're going to repeat that today, actually. We're going to repeat. So take a full in-breath, full out-breath, and then press down through the feet. We're going to inhale and lift up once again. So just lifting up, squeezing through the glutes, pressing the shins away, lifting the heart towards the chin, looking up at the ceiling. So you don't want to twist the head here, ideally, once you have your good position. We'll inhale and we'll exhale, lower down to the ground, let the sacrum come down to the floor, just settle for a moment. And then we'll hug the knees into the chest. Just hug them in, just to have a little bit of a rock on your spine. Good. Okay, so we're going to take a movement here on our backs. We're going to come into a pose called Happy Baby. So Happy Baby is a bit of a tricky one to show, so go into it if you know it. Happy Baby, I'm going to turn this way to you so that you can see. So Happy Baby is a hip stretch, and what we're doing is we're bringing the knees wider than the hips, and we're ideally sort of holding on somewhere to the feet. That might not be possible. So you may be able to reach for the insides of your insteps, the insides of your feet, or maybe the outsides of your feet, but they might not be in reach. So you might be holding on to the sort of bottom of your legs, perhaps. Maybe you could even hold on behind your thighs if it was hard to reach, because I don't want you to be overextending through your shoulders. You can also even pass a strap or a belt or a shawl or something over the top of the feet so that you could be a little bit higher through your feet, and then you're not straining through your shoulders. So this is an option here. So Happy Baby. A little stretch of the hips. So we're going to release out of Happy Baby. We'll bring the knees into the chest again. So you're just bringing them centrally in towards the chest. And then we're going to rock up to sit. So rock up to sit or roll over, come to sit, whatever works best. And we're going to come into a pose called Dandasana then. So seated staff pose. I've turned to the side this time so you can get a better view of my body. You might like to use your block for this. This might be really appreciated, or a folded up firm blanket. So this is a great way to help you kind of get strong through the lower back and strong through the top of the chest. So as with many of our poses, you're engaging your belly and you're trying to kind of lift the heart and find some openness across the chest, drawing the shoulder blades down the back. Just breathing here. Quite a tricky pose, actually. Looks simple. And then from here, you might really appreciate something beneath your seat here. We're going to widen the legs. So we're just going to widen the legs out. So for many people, what happens when they come into this pose where they widen the legs is that the back rounds. So a block or something beneath your seat, just beneath the edge of your seat, will really help with this. It will really help you to draw your body up tall. So keep your feet quite active. So try not to sort of point them or relax them too much. Keep them pointing up towards the ceiling, knees coming up towards the ceiling, and then try to find this lift through the heart. Good. See if you can find some breath here. And then from here, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. So we're going to bring a little bit of a bend into the knees. And then we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Now, stay on your brick or stay on your whatever you've raised your seat with by all means, or you might want to come off. But you're bringing the soles of your feet together, maybe quite close to your groins, or if necessary, a little bit further away if you need to make space. You're just allowing these knees to come out to the side a little bit, if they will. A little bit of patience here, just drawing up tall through the torso. Great opportunity just to regulate your breath again. Good. And then let's bring these knees in towards one another. Remove your block or your raised seat, and then let's come down onto our backs again then. Come down onto your back. So onto your back with your knees bent. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to take one leg and just stretch it out long along the mat. So just stretch it out. And then you're going to hug the opposite knee in towards your chest. Now, most backs will be happy with this long leg, but if for some reason you need support through your back, then you might prefer to bend this supported knee. So just go with what feels good. So if this leg is long, you want to, take it, you want to kind of make it quite active. So you're firming up the thigh, firming up the foot. And then when you're ready, we're going to come into a little bit of a hamstring stretch. So we're just going to stretch up this leg into the air. You might just hold on behind your thigh. Doesn't matter if the knee's a little bit bent, whatever you need. So you're just having an opportunity to stretch out through the back of the leg and the calf. And then let's bring a little bit of rotation into the raised foot as well. Just raise the foot and rotate the foot. And then we'll hug that knee into the chest. And then we're going to change legs. So just change over. One leg comes long or bent if you need it, and the other knee comes in towards the chest. And then when you're ready, just extend that leg. So extend it up. Doesn't matter if it's kind of, a little bit bent. You might just decide to kind of gently hold on behind the thigh and let that leg out a little bit. The straighter the leg is, the more of a stretch you get through the hamstring. And then let's rotate the foot so that we can get into all those little muscles of the ankle and the foot and the toes. Good. And then we'll hug the knees, that knee into the chest. And then let's bring both knees into the chest. So both knees coming in. Little rock on your spine. And then you're going to lower the feet down to the floor. And you're going to take your hands out to the sides. So just take them out to the sides. So it's like you're coming to a bit of a T shape, nice and wide with the hands. And then we're going to come into a lying twist. So what we want to do is take both knees out to the right. And it might help you just to walk the bottom very slightly over, to the opposite side. So to the left, very slightly, just to make room to bring the knees out to the right side. So you're making like a zigzag shape with your body. Let me turn this way so you can see me if anybody's unsure. So once you're in position here, looking over your back arm, if that feels comfortable for your neck, if your neck isn't kind of too stiff to do that, or you could look straight up towards the ceiling, whatever feels good. Now just pay attention to your back arm, so your back shoulder structure. So sometimes if we're very tight through the shoulders, you might be lifting up and that might not be too comfortable. That might feel too stressful through that top shoulder. So you may just decide to bend the arm and place the same side hand onto the hip. That might be an option. Let your body rest. Coming towards the end now, heading towards our relaxation pose soon. And then we're going to inhale and bring the knees to the center. And then as we exhale, we're going to let the knees come out to the opposite side. So just make any adjustments for your body to allow your knees to come out to the opposite side. And then again, is it okay to look over that back arm? Do you need to look straight up? Do you need to make any adjustments to that back shoulder? Just feel your body slowing down. And then we're going to inhale and bring the knees to the center. Allow your body to come neutral, so feel your back neutrally positioned on the floor. And then let's just draw the knees into the chest then. So just draw them in. Little rock on the spine once again. Loosening off through the spine. And now we're going to head into our relaxation pose then. So traditionally, relaxation pose has you lying flat, but not every back likes to lie flat. So you may decide that you want to bend your knees, or like we did at the very beginning, take the feet wide and let the knees roll in together. Or if you had a bolster or some kind of large pillow or large cushion, you could even place it underneath the backs of the legs. This is quite nice if you like to have that flat feeling through your lower back. So I want you to find a comfortable lying position and make sure that you're warm so that you can just have a little bit of a relaxation place for a few minutes now. So you may be happy for your hands to You sort of resting, either side of your body, a little bit of space between your arms and the sides of your body, or you may prefer to, rest your hands on your torso, whatever feels most comfortable for you. I want us to find that soft place in the belly again. Let the belly get soft. And then when the belly is soft, you can really get that benefit from a long breath. So back to that feeling of the balloon, that rising and falling of your belly that you can really feel whilst you're lying down. The inflating of the balloon as you breathe in, and the deflating of the balloon as you breathe out. Really see if you can feel that effect of the breath on your body. Not just your belly, maybe you can feel how your rib cage rises and falls also. Notice your body now, notice your physical body. If your ankles want to turn out to the sides, then just allow them to. Allow your lower legs to rest. Allow the upper limbs to rest. Allow the pelvis and the hips to relax, and for your spine, your rib cage, all to rest now. Allow your shoulders and your neck to get soft. And then notice the muscles in your face. Notice how you might have the tendency to hold on in the area of your jaw, your tongue. Just allow those areas to be soft and still now. Allow your eyes to feel kind of rested in their socket. Just giving your body a few moments of peace, a few moments where it can truly let go. For a few moments, become aware of your breath, just your breath. Softness in your belly that allows you to breathe in and out long. And then just start to turn your head very gently, just a couple of times from side to side. And then when the head comes back to neutral, just start to make some movement with your fingers and your toes. And then you're going to very gently just bring a bend to your knees so that the soles of the feet come back to the floor. Just take your time. And then when you're ready, you're going to hug your knees towards your chest for the last time, just hugging them in. A little roll on your spine may feel good, just a little rock. And then when you're ready, you're just going to roll onto your side. So just roll onto one side, whatever feels good. Might just make a little pillow with your head, with your kind of the arm that's down on the ground, just resting on your side. Just taking a few long breaths. And then you're going to push yourself up to sit. Just take your time to bring yourself up to sit. Just make a really comfortable seat. Be comfortable through the base of your posture so that you can just take a moment just to kind of release through the shoulders and grow up tall. Take a few moments just to breathe in and out the way you've been doing in so many of your postures today. You can carry that feeling of long breath into whatever you do today. And then let's draw the hands together and then just bring them into the heart center here. And then I'm going to close today's class with Namaste. I have a few minutes left of the hour, so I'm actually just going to turn the microphones back on just so we can talk if you wanted to. So I'll do that now.